A lot of big games to pick from this year, or this week, I should say, but we're going to go with Alabama and Arkansas. Is Alabama looking a little vulnerable? Maybe, but they just continue to do what they do. Arkansas is coming off a loss, so let's talk to a couple of insiders to break it all down. We've got Tera Talmadge, Arkansas reporter. You see her there on the sidelines for ESPN. And Tony Tsoukalas, the managing editor for TideIllustrated.com. Friends, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
Going good, guys. I'm excited for this game this weekend.
All right, Tony. So I got to ask about this O-line that's been the storyline in the offseason. Even in the Texas game, you heard it pop up a little bit. Has this offensive line figured it out?
Yeah, I think it's more about just getting the consistency down, right? I mean, it's been pretty good at pass protection. I think they've only allowed 4 sacks through 4 games, and Bryce Young's had time to work. He especially had time against Vanderbilt where they were able to kind of establish more of a downfield passing game. The running game had been inconsistent. It's gotten better the last 2 weeks, but the first 2 weeks, I think you'd have an 80-yard run, but then you wouldn't be able to pick up the 3rd and 1 run that you needed. And that's one of the things they struggled with against Texas. So it seems like things are sorting themselves out. Alabama really hasn't even settled on a starting 5. They've been kind of experimenting with Tyler Booker and Javion Cohen and even Emil Ekiyor, who you would think would be a stable guy at one of those guard positions. Even he's kind of came off the field at times. So they're still trying to figure stuff out, but it is improving. So, I mean, if you're looking at that way, there's reasons to be optimistic about it.
Tara, how is Arkansas rebounding this week knowing that, Alabama's coming to town, which is always a difficult challenge?
Yeah, I mean, Sam Pittman said in his press conference on Monday that, Alabama's one of those teams that can beat you before you even run out on the field. Like, you just know that you're going up against such a tough task. And so they're rebounding pretty well. At least they're saying that they are after that A&M game. I know that they're all crushed after the way that it ended. So they're just looking to bounce back and put up a good showing against Alabama.
Tony, I know on this show you mentioned this Alabama defense maybe being one of the best you've seen out there. There were some struggles in the Texas game, but really, at the end of the day, not really. So talk to me about where they are now compared to what you thought they would be.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the beginning of the season, I was harping about the pass rush, which is still there. I mean, it's still it's the most talented pass rush in the nation, and it still can rush the passer. But the thing that's really made this defense special so far is the run defense. I mean, you mentioned Texas. I mean, they held Bijan Robinson to 57 yards on 21 attempts. I mean, that's pretty good for a guy that you would put as one of the best running backs in the nation. I think they rank in the top 5 or 10 in rush defense. I think it's in the top 5. I think they're averaging like 62.5 yards allowed per game. So that's pretty good. And I think that's going to be really important against this Arkansas team. That's the biggest thing about this defense that I've seen. The scary thing actually is the fact that it hasn't even clicked totally yet. I mean, Alabama has 1 turnover through 4 games. It's not what you would expect from this kind of unit. If they can get that going, I mean, I think this could be a really historically good defense. But even without the turnovers, they're playing lights out.
Tara, the rush defense has been part of the strong part for Arkansas's defense, but A-Chain was able to get off. How did they stop a very talented backfield there in Alabama?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're definitely going to be emphasizing some of those things for the pass rush this week leading up to the Alabama game. Arkansas leads the nation in sacks right now. I think they're going to have a pretty good time. Well, I don't want to say good time. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But, we were talking about the Tide's offensive line, and I think that they're going to have them on their heels a little bit during this game, especially seeing how A-Chain kind of picked them apart in the past week.
Tony, let's talk a little bit about KJ Jefferson. Last year, this game was really close, and a lot of Alabama's game in the fourth quarter was close. How do they neutralize what KJ Jefferson does?
I think they, almost to a certain extent, neutralize some of what he did last year. I mean, he was able to pass the ball really well on them, but he didn't necessarily beat him with his legs. So, I mean, that could be an encouragement for Arkansas in terms of, Alabama really didn't see, KJ Jefferson hurt them with his legs, which he's capable of doing. So if they're not careful, that's something that Alabama, could really struggle against. I think, when Texas had to make their change at quarterback, that, is more mobile. And I think that, Alabama at first kind of struggled with that. So we'll see how they are at corralling KJ Jefferson. He's a guy that can make some big plays and maybe important situations, either buy time or just make a big run. And I think that could kind of help extend drives he's going to have to be special for them to beat Arkansas, for them to beat Alabama, because I think Bryce Young is going to have a field day against this Arkansas secondary. So I think it's going to have to be somewhat of a track meet for Arkansas. And I just think that you're going to need KJ Jefferson to have one of those games where you look back and you're like, man, that was a special performance. I mean, that's normally how you beat Alabama, is a special performance from the quarterback. I just think he's the most important player on the field for Arkansas.
Tara, so I'll follow that up for you. All right, the secondary has not been good for Arkansas this year, and now you're taking on the Heisman Trophy winner, Bryce Young. What are they thinking here? Is it all about the pass rush?
I mean, the pass defense issues have been just well documented so far this season. And I think time of possession is going to be really key for Arkansas, especially trying to run the ball a little bit more, keep the clock going so that Bryce Young does not have chances to pick apart that secondary. That's going to be a massive key for them going forward in this game. And, their run game's been pretty successful so far. And having KJ at quarterback is a bonus because, like we were just talking about, he can hurt you with his legs. And I'm sure this is one of those games where they're going to use that.
All right, Tony, what are the keys in the game to the game for Alabama?
I think if Alabama protects Bryce Young and protects the ball, they're going to win. But I mean, there is a chance that Arkansas can pull the upset, especially being at home. If they can, get a few seconds. If Bryce Young has enough time to pass the ball, he's going to move the ball against this Arkansas pass defense. But Arkansas leads the nation in sacks. I'm sure Drew Sanders, a former Alabama player, he's been tearing it up for Arkansas. I'm sure he's going to want to get a sack. He's going to want to get on the action. So if he can get to Bryce Young, either bring him down, or if they can just force Bryce into, a bad throw here or there, an interception, and they can take advantage. If Arkansas really needs to win the turnover battle, and if they can do that, they maybe can pull an upset. But if this turns into a track meet or where they can't stop Alabama, I just don't. I think there could be a chance that Bryce could throw for 400 yards again, or I don't know if he'll get 500 like he did last year, but I think he could easily get 400, and it could be a big game for him.
Tara, what about for Arkansas? What is the key to the game?
I think the key to the game, for Arkansas is that you're going to have every single one of your guys have just out of this world performances. They cannot play like they did against A&M last week. I mean, and that's usually what happens though against Alabama. Everyone comes out guns blazing because they want to beat Bama. Like everyone loves to hate Bama. So I'm sure that they're going to come out and be ready for this game. Slowing down Bryce Young is obviously one of the biggest factors because, like we just said, he will throw for 400 or 500 yards on you if you let him. That's going to be the big key.
All right, Tara and Tony, thank you so much. We'll do it again.
Sounds good, guys. Thank you.